Hello everyone, and it is a glorious summer's day and I am sitting in one of my most favourite spots, which is on the River Avon. I'm sitting on the dock at my niece Lucy's house and her husband Ian, and they very kindly said it's okay for me to fall in the river anytime I like. I'm not going to go in the boat because that is asking for trouble. I just wanted to take this opportunity. I'm sure that you're all really very well aware of my wonderful friend Valerie Perrine's new documentary called Valerie. It's been advertised everywhere, it's been blasted everywhere. I just want to encourage you all to see it. It's not expensive, it's £2 something or so many dollars, but it's a wonderfully cheap, wonderful purchase, or you can rent it. And I urge you to see it, not because I'm in it, although of course that has a lot to do with it. No, it is actually because it really is fascinating. And Valerie is often described as Las Vegas showgirl. Well, I don't think of her like that. I think of her as Hollywood royalty. She is an absolute lady, and she couldn't be more perfect. She always looks wonderful. She always dresses for the occasion. And I've actually, over the years, learned all sorts of little tips from her. Of course, during the filming of Superman, I hardly had any opportunity to be with her because, of course, we worked on different days. But later on, we got to go to some conventions together. Before we went on conventions, I have to tell you a wee story. One of my great life lessons I learnt from Valerie, as far as traveling the world trying to be a movie star or representing the film, as I did back in the late 70s. I don't know where we were or where we were going, because most of the time I was on my own, albeit sitting in great splendour in first class. And this is in the days when first class was just, I mean, I know it is now, but it was just glorious back then. And you would sit and you would fly somewhere and somebody would come onto the plane and say your name, and then they would escort you off, and you went off and you didn't really see immigration, you didn't really see customs. But what you did see was the press, who were usually waiting for you. And I was on a flight to, I'd like to say Australia, New Zealand. I know it was a long flight, and at the very front of the plane there is the number one seat, which everybody kind of wants to get, because once you're at the front of the plane, the next person is the pilot and nobody comes and bothers you. It's a perfect spot. I wasn't in the front spot. There was a lady in the front spot who had her curlers in, much to my amazement. And we went through the flight, and it was long and it was tedious. And then as we got the first announcement that we were going to be landing soon, this lady got up and went past me and went to the loo, back behind me. And quite some time later, and I mean some time later, I mean maybe 20 minutes later, this vision appeared from the loo. And it was Valerie, in all her glory. She had indeed been sitting at the front with her curlers in, but she was preparing herself to meet the public, which is something I needed to learn pretty quickly, because I would stagger off the planes, bleary-eyed, filthy old t-shirt because I'd spilt my food or whatever. But no, Valerie was there, probably dressed in purple, because I know she loves purple. But she was there, and she got off the plane, and I can remember thinking, wow, she's a real movie star. And then I followed, and then the press took some photos of me, and I thought, oh, gosh, I mean, that's sort of wonderful naivety. I'm in the same movie as her, and I better get with the programme and start tarting myself up a little bit. Anyway, that was one of the very first times I was on a plane with her. There's been a few other wonderful occasions, notably when we went to Metropolis way back in, we think, 2001, 2002, something like that. And I've got a couple of pictures of her getting on the plane, and I can remember being absolutely staggered by what seemed like an inordinate amount of hand luggage, but it turned out to be her bedding. And another little tip I picked up from her, she said, oh, you don't want to risk using their hotel pillows. I always take my pillow, she said, and her duvet. Now, I don't travel with my duvet, but I do travel with my pillow. So thank you, Valerie. Anyway, we've had some wonderful times together, and we will continue to have wonderful times together, but this documentary just captures the essence of her, and I was very, very honoured and very flattered that I was asked to take part in it. Stacey Souther, who is the director, he deserves the most enormous shout out. Aside from the fact that he is the most delightful man you could ever meet, he is kindness personified and a great guy, and I know a terrific support to Valerie, but the tirelessness, the effort that has gone in to making this movie, to raising the money to do it. It's not easy. Getting all the celebrities and the stars and the different people to speak, not easy at all. But he did it, and it's because of him and Valerie that it's here today. So I do urge you, dig deep, spend that couple of dollars or those couple of quid that you have to do, and look at the film. I was lucky enough to be at her 70th birthday, and once again Valerie was all in purple. I mean, she does it so brilliantly and she looks so fantastic, always. And it was the night before she went off to have that first surgery. She was having quite a major surgery on her brain, and I know she won't mind me telling you because I haven't got anything more to tell you than that. But she was brave enough and wise enough and wonderful enough to celebrate her birthday the night before, because who knew what was going to happen the following day. And in those days, which is probably 7 or 8 years ago, we really didn't know, and she really didn't know what was going on with her. It just was a very slow decline, as indeed Parkinson's is. So I'm just here really to say wonderful, wonderful Stacey, wonderful Valerie. Do try and take a look at the film. It's worth it. It really is worth it. And meanwhile, look at me. The wonderful rushes, the River Avon, and I know I've said it before and I'm saying it again, but this is where I was brought up. This is where I was born. Just along there, probably about 5 minutes walk, we lived in a little house which came right down to the river. So this is a wonderful, familiar place to be. That's about all. Eli tells me, on very good authority, that he has finally completed the massive task that is putting together some of my comedy clips. I can't even remember what we did, but I know it was an interesting little exercise. We had all sorts of plans of how we were going to do it, and unfortunately COVID took those plans away. So we did it a little bit differently, but I hope you enjoy it. He says it's going to start soon. And I hope you're all doing very well indeed. As I said before, there's some very strange birdie noises going on. I don't know what is... Do you hear that? I don't know whether that's a bird squeaking or, well, who knows what it is. This is nature for you, but it's glorious and it's lovely and it's hot, 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 and it's very rare for England. And I wish you all very well. I'll be coming back to you soon because we have another announcement to be made, hopefully in the next few days. I wonder if you know what it might be. Okay, I'm going fishing. See ya.